I want to become a composer for a living, you know. And as a 15 years old, I was expecting happiness and, you know, all the desperation. So,
Oh mio Dio, my poor boy.
my father wanted me to become a football player. My mom wanted me to become doctor or lawyer. It was like, you know, the usual
Taxi
things.
driver even, man. Anything that
A real job. I started to try to find what is the best place to compose music to get money out of it. What should I do to make this a living that is not just a freelancer that tries to work out, but it's gonna be a recurring revenues. I just left my CD and I said, please just give it to Paltrinieri, which was the producer at the time. And I left it there, and 5 days later they called me. I worked 7 years there, so that's what I was doing. That was the dream, basically. I was paid to compose music for the television. I saw my music in the ads, seen by 12, 15 million people. And most of the time, I was the problem, and not them.
Hello everybody, and welcome once again to It's About Time. I'm your host Chris, and today I have a very special guest for you. His name is Michele Gelmini, and he comes from Val Camonica, Italia. Michele, welcome, and thank you for coming and joining me today.
Thank you, Chris, very much for having me and inviting me to this beautiful podcast.
So I haven't told everybody yet what you do, and the reason I did it deliberately because I want for you to tell us your story. So I know that you are an accomplished musician, but not just that, you're also a composer. And above all of this, I mean, this is my opinion, of course, you're also an entrepreneur and a businessman. So you have been living in Dubai for the past 13 years, and we've known each other for 10.
Yeah, correct.
Correct. But before we get into all of that, tell me, Michele, how did your passion for music come from? Because you're also a very good soccer player.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I've seen you play soccer, man. You're pretty good.
Oh, thank you for that. So, no, basically I started when I was 8 years old, and it happened just by chance. And as I define myself as a music composer, more than a musician, actually. Yeah, so, and it started all by chance with a sleepover to my uncle and auntie house in Camonica Valley, actually. And I was 8, and I did this sleepover, and my cousins were all musicians. So they put me in front of a piano, and I started to learn my first songs, and I fell in love with the instrument. Oh, wow. So I was like, yeah, I want this at my home. And then my mom, of course, reminded me that we didn't have the money to buy it. So that's how it started. Also, by chance, I sometimes kids, they are saying, you know, I saw my friend playing piano. I want also to try it and anything. And of course, my mom was worried in that time because she said, are you going really to do this? Or is this like when you want to become an astronaut, when you want to do all this stuff as a kid, you know? Kids, they start and finish interest in the lapse of weeks sometimes, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah, so that's how it started. And my first thing was piano. And the second thing after it was to try to compose music related to my feelings at that age, 8, 9 years old.
So wait a minute. So you started learning how to play the piano at 8.
Yeah.
Did you take any professional education, schooling?
So I started with the private piano lessons first in my town, in Camonica Valley, and with Domenico. So he was my first piano teacher. Oh. And this guy, basically, I did around a year classes, and then I prepared for going to the proper music school, which is the Conservatory. That's, where...
that one is hardcore, I know.
You 20x the...
Yes.
The efforts, the knowledge, and everything. And so I did my exam, and then I enter. And imagine there. So I started as piano, as instrument to learn. And then after already a year, I was switched to composition, because the director at that time saw that I had this predisposition of creating music, and it was very basic. And I was the only kid to try to do those things. So he said, have you tried the composition? I said, no, I know nothing about it. So he basically brought me to the class of composition, and there I went.
Well, so you were young, and at one point you decided that, no, maybe this note will go better here. Is that how he realized it, or you started making your own music?
So, the process of composition, it's always taking choices.
Okay.
So this is a thing I learned after.
All right. All right.
So at the beginning was simply like I play a wrong note on maybe a Mozart piece or what I was studying in a technical piece. And I said, oh, I really like this note, on a technical piece or a scale. Oh, I like this sound. And I was trying to repeat it there with different patterns and stuff. So that's what actually I was doing. And I was trying, I remember, to write it down, but I didn't have the knowledge
On
to
how
write
to
it
write
properly.
that.
Yeah, write the score, the music score. So that was the thing that was missing in the beginning.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you were jazzing it up.
Yes, exactly.
No,
I was
that-
improvising it all.
That's beautiful. Wow, at such a young age.
Yeah. And
Okay. So from there, right, you started learning the piano, and then you went to conservatory, and of course you mastered whatever you were trying to learn at that point, because you graduated from conservatory as summa cum laude, obviously.
20 years old. So it takes 10 years. So composition is a very tough, is a very tough subject. It includes everything. Like you have to learn all the instruments. You need to learn why, for example, in a technicism, why does violin, when he plays a chromatic scale, is very difficult, and on the piano is one of the easiest thing to do. So you need to learn all the small things to be able to write, not only for the instruments you play, but also to the instruments that you don't know how to play.
No. So in a sense, you need to learn everything.
Yeah, about music. So when you go out from a composition, subject, and in conservatory, you know everything about music in terms of, a 360. You have a 360 degrees of the view of the music.
Wow, man, that's fantastic. Okay, so you learned music and you graduated from conservatory school, and then what was your first? Actually, I want to know, what was your first performance? Because they didn't keep you in the school forever, man.
Okay.
They had to unleash you out there.
So the real first I
For you?
Yeah, for me actually was a recital. Okay. So it was a recital in a church. It's a typical thing in
Nice.
our place during Christmas. So I did that one, and I was a bit exaggerated because I basically perform my own compositions, and I always like to I'd say work with other students of the conservatory, so violinist, clarinetist, etc., and writing the music even sometimes based on the people I know they would like to play with me, then just saying, oh, I'm gonna write a clarinet, flute, piano composition or anything else. So I sometimes composed for specific instruments just because I knew that I can play with them. And that time I was quite a big thing. I think I was 18 or something. So that was where I basically started to see the reaction from the people of playing my own music. So,
And did you like it?
oh, I enjoyed a lot. I mean, it was, I was sick as hell. I was 39 fever. And then I got, because of the, of the tensions and the things, playing
Right.
my own
The
music.
stress.
And also it brought a lot of jealousy, envious through the school, because yes, I was acting like I don't know how to say, like I was really like full of energy. So I kissed the piano at the end of the concert, and I did things that were not really academy stuff.
It's okay, man.
Yeah, it's fine. Like.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
So that's what was happening. It was very fun. That I really enjoyed, and that's how it
Okay,
happened.
so this was you at 19, 18 years old.
Yeah.
Very nice. I remember you showed me a couple of beautiful YouTube videos of some of your performances together with a violinist
Yeah.
and clarinet.
Yeah, flute. Yeah,
Yes, and
different-
flute.
Yeah.
Correct. and they were stunning, man. I mean,
Thank
I
you.
remember I show it to Xenia all the time, and it's just beautiful. I have them saved and bookmarked.
Thank you.
So you stayed in Italy until when?
Till 27 years old.
Okay, and what did you do while you were there?
So the thing that happened is that while I was growing up, so during my 14, 15 years old, I was saying to my parents, I sat one day with them and I said, guys, I want to become a composer for a living, And as a 15 years old, I was
Yeah.
expecting happiness and,
No.
all the desperation came out. So
Oh mio Dio, my poor boy.
why don't you, my father wanted me to become a football player, my mom wanted me to become doctor or lawyer, those like the usual
Taxi
things.
driver, even, man. Anything that.
A real job.
Exactly.
And then what I said is that okay, I got that. And also because in my family, as I told you, I had cousins performing and being musicians who graduated in guitar or cello, etc. Also, they didn't have that much success in their own
Of course. So
musical
there was this
life.
precedent.
So, like everyone was like in the family, especially was concerned on that. And what I actually did was already at 15, 16, I started to try to find what is the best place to compose music to get money out of it. What should I do to make this a living that is not just a freelancer that tries to work out, but it's going to be a recurring revenue. So, and that's how then I approached different people, and I spent maybe sometimes because friends knew people, etc. I spent 3-4 hours at the phone with these people. Are people that compose songs for the biggest festival in Italy, like Sanremo.
Yes.
And so I asked them like and of course when you ask them, they are very happy to share. On the other side, they are like, oh, another composer that want to try it out, and it will probably not work out. And I tried always to see how to do. And until the day that at 20, I basically just put my CD with one-page CV at the basically at Mediaset, which is the biggest national TV in Italy. I just left my CD and I said, please just give it to Paltrinieri, which was the producer at the time. And I left it there, and 5 days later they called me, and we made a contract, and then I worked 7 years there. So that's what I was doing. There was the dream, basically. I was paid to compose music for the television.
Beautiful.
I saw my music in the ads seen by 12, 15 million people, because was actually many of them in the peak of the time of the evening, on the
Oh,
TV
very
shows.
nice.
So that was a great thing and a great lesson of my life there, because I was quite lucky there. The environment was very, very clear, and no, you didn't have any shark inside the company. And so meritocracy, you're good, you can keep forward. You're not good, we're not going to
Renew
show
your
your musics.
contract, or yeah.
Exactly. So that was quite a fair, and that was very big help to make me going forward. So yeah, that was the thing.
Man, that's beautiful. I really like what you said. At one point, I looked to understand how could I make money. And this is a point that I really like, because it's something I have noticed in you. And people might think it's materialistic, but I see it as objective. Is you need to make money, because otherwise you're gonna be just like the grasshopper, playing music, enjoying life, and winter comes, and then you got nothing to do.
Exactly.
So that right there, I think, is something many artists forget, because they're like passionate, the passionate, but you need to have an understanding that you gotta pay the bills. You have to feed yourself somehow, and this is really cool. And I'm gonna touch on this a little later, because we need to still go through a couple of more years of you.
Yeah, of course.
So then, for after those 7 years, why did you decide to come to the UAE?
So I was on LinkedIn and I received an offer from an artist agency in the UAE. And when I received that, I was like, Ma, should I try? Should I not? Like the typical questions, because I was happy there.
Yeah.
I didn't need to change. And also in the perspective of music, here there is not much in the UAE, especially at that time. There was really much less compared to cultural into the music. So today the things are much better, but 13 years ago was a bit less. And then I spoke with the people in Italy that I were working for, and I said, look, if what happens if I just go 6 months, I try out, and they said, if you come back in 6 months, you're going to continue to stay here, so no problem at all. So I said, no girlfriend, no problems of my parents, or no family issues. Who's gonna stop me?
Right.
Like I can try.
No kids, no nothing.
Nothing. So I didn't have any responsibilities or something that hooked me in Italy. I said, let me try. Maximum, I will come back. Like that would be the worst case scenario in case things goes wrong. And then I came here, and actually I became friend very quickly with a friend of mine called Michela, which is Michela. She's the one that actually helped me a lot at the beginning, because as new culture, new language, because in Italy we speak Italian, and here it's English. So, and these all new things, new type of mentality of the people. Of course, at the beginning was tough. Was tough to understand, to digest all of this, and then she helped me a lot into understanding and go through some tough times, especially at the beginning that I faced, and that's how basically things started. So in the afternoon I was teaching in a music school, and in the evenings I was performing in hotels. That's what I was doing in the beginning. And one thing to add, even when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, before to being hired by a big company to compose music, I was in the Saturdays and Sundays and in the festive days, I was always going to perform with a friend of mine, to basically with Paola, to perform into clubs and bars and stuff, always because it was a good gig for me. I enjoyed that and I was paid for that.
That's fantastic,
So
man.
recently I saw Ennio Morricone, that when actually he arranged very famous songs like Abbronzatissima. He's the arranger of the song. And when he started to write music for movies, the whole composers and academy told him, you sold yourself to the movies. So it's a thing that nowadays is not anymore like that, but in the 60s was that. So yeah, so again, it's a question of choices also here, and I chose that.
Ennio Morricone, man, is one of my loves. I went to Dubai Opera to see the tribute done by his son. To this day, I talk about it all the time, and to this day, it's gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. It was gorgeous. But you touched up on tough times when you just arrived. Can I ask you, what does look like, and
So
how do you get through?
yeah, when you have a lot of excitements for a new experience, sometimes you don't look at obvious things that happens that are in front of you, and you don't just want to look at them. It can be something like my friend telling me, "Oh, Michele, don't trust this contract. There is no company stamp on it." And because I was very excited on it, I said, "Oh, come on,
Let's do it.
Let's do it," And then suddenly the last day discovered that the contract is not valid, and then there is no job on that thing. So I was like, why people should do something like that, where present a paperwork and it's on a purpose, missing something. And that was one exactly practical thing that happened to me that show how blind I was because of the excitement of doing that. And it's okay. The thing is that I do in all those times is just to, wake up call. You get the wake up call. I just restart again and then try to make it better even the next time. So I didn't give up. So this is I continue to to push myself to make it.
And you continue properly, because when I met you, you already had your company set up. So I didn't know you while you were playing for hotels and restaurants here in Dubai. I met you when you were already running your company, and I think you were running your company already for 2 years, maybe a little more,
Three,
3 year.
3 years, yes, correct. Two, three
And
years.
what? Why set up your own company?
So I never seen myself to be an owner of a company or to have employees in my life. I thought, what I enjoy is to write the music. I'm gonna do that. And so what happened there is that the first months while I was teaching in a music school and performing, I saw a big gap into piano lessons at home. So I saw exactly in Dubai there was huge gap into okay, there are many schools that provides piano lessons into the institutes, but I tried myself to call some piano teachers at that time and says, okay, look, I live in JLT more than another area in Dubai. And most of the time was like, oh no, that area is too far from me. I will not cover it. So I saw that, you know, if there was some demand, I needed to cover it.
Yes.
So and then with the music school, of course, I started to meet these parents and talk to the parents, and I discovered that some parents wanted to have the service at home, but there was no one providing it. So I said to myself, okay, let me do one thing. Let me quit this job and let me do it myself, So let me do this investment, which actually I have to say my brother also helped me out at the time on doing that.
Your big brother.
Yes, my big
All
brother.
right, for big bro.
and then what happened is that I opened at the time you needed basically an LLC to
Yes.
just provide a piano lessons or even just a performance. So there was nothing freelancing like now that you have a lot. So you had to put quite serious money for the time for me. And I said, okay, let me do it, and I started it. And the thing is that at the time I didn't know anything about marketing, about advertising, etc. I just learned by doing it. So I just remember that Google AdWords at that time was costing me nothing, like €1, like 4 dirhams per day. And I remember in 4 months I had already basically 26 clients with 51 students of music that I was teaching. And so, and then I said, let me hire other people because I was 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, fully booked. So I said, let me just hire qualified people, because this was the other thing I saw that was missing, a lot of qualified people on that thing.
Very interesting. So then, did you have a hard time finding the right people?
Yes, it was not only hard. And today is harder than at that time, I have to say.
Really?
The pool decreased a lot of professional piano teachers here. The thing is that what I learned in the journey of 12 years having the company and managing people is that most of the time I was the problem and not them. So this is one of the things that you learn when you're on the field,
Yes.
as I want to say, because again, I didn't have any MBA. I never studied business, and so I love to learn stuff. I love to read books about entrepreneurship and this stuff. And one of the things that I learned by myself was to understand how to manage better the people. And so I had to change myself to manage better people.
This is fantastic, man. And yes, this is one of the qualities that you inspire in me, the fact that you never stop learning. I have seen you mutate and evolve through our friendship, through the time that we know each other, going from your small business into what today is, I think, an example for anybody that would like to come to this country and set up any type of business, not just music. The way you run it, the way you have it organized, the quality of the service that you provide. It's just phenomenal. And all of this, I have seen you learn, because obviously you study music. And I have seen you apply yourself to learning. You have really looked for the knowledge to better yourself. And this is inspirational, Michele. It inspires me, it inspires my wife, and inspires all the people around you for sure. So this is beautiful, man. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
No, thank you, man. And then And then after that, we met. You run your company for 3 years, and by the time I met you, I remember uh, that we talked about it, and we talked about your what you were doing, and you were pissed off, or a little bit, not really pissed off, but you were a little upset because your office lady, your admin, she was going back to Italy.
Oh yeah.
So all of a sudden, the lady that was basically helping you manage your PA
Yeah, the PA, yeah.
left you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know what it feels when your PA leaves you, man. It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh no. It's like installing a new, I don't know, calendar software or something. It just doesn't work.
100%, like, and then I follow a lot Elon Musk on those things where it's like most of the time you work to maximize the efficiency on things that should not exist already in the, in the first
Yeah.
place. So that's the thing that I learned also. So yeah, so I remember that time, and it came after other times where I had to change people, or people, because this place where we are in the UAE, it's for most people a transition place. We are exceptions.
We are.
That we are here for many years. So the thing that I learned through the journey was exactly to make it better for everyone, and to learn always, and to be open to any solution. And what I try to do now, because especially when I speak with friends in Italy that they are in different fields, even musicians or composers, etc., is always okay, you can see all the bad things happening, all the non-meritocracy systems that are anywhere in any field. At the end, you can't control those things. You should go through the things you can control. So I like always to give them some energy to continue to do what they are good at, even if you're not good into the administrational side, or and so you want to focus on your composing, for example, or on your teaching, whatever, just to find the joy that gives you to do that thing. Because one of the answers that let me understood my future was, if today I have $10 billion in my bank account, what would I continue to do? And were two things: write music and teach music or composition to the kids. So I know that that's the thing I will do at 70. So, because I do it, doesn't matter what, so I really enjoy to see the growing, like I enjoy to see that one small advice can help someone to basically save 3 months of trial and error on
Yeah.
something. So that's what makes me feel happy. So that when I understood that, I said, okay, good. Now I'm gonna go everything to have this, So
Yeah. And I know you're very passionate about your students. I remember during COVID, you live streamed, no, during COVID, it
yeah,
was, you live streamed your concert.
yeah, correct.
And I was so happy to be able to see it, and it was amazing. And I see all these kids walking on stage, playing the piano, and the idea that they're there, knowing what they know, and with the ability to perform in front of their parents, but as well as strangers, because there's many other parents in there that they don't know. It's thanks to you and your team. And this is beautiful, man. It's beautiful for these kids. And speaking of your students, um, can you tell me some of the stories that you had with your students? Some success stories, or maybe some unhappy stories? I don't know. It's up to you.
So this one I think can be very good to share. There was this family where father, mother, and two kids plus the uncle play all plays very well piano. Every one of them plays really well, and they have one kid that is not struggling. But when I met this kid, I saw that he felt like, oh, everyone here is good to play, and I'm not gonna make it.
Ah,
And the work I did in just the time of 2 years, it was amazing. And even the mom nowadays, she says to me, like, improved incredibly. It's just because I gave him just the energy to fight this conviction that he has. So he thought to be like that, but I could see that he could do much better than that. He could write his own music. He could do a lot of stuff. And what happened is that when I started to work on that, results came. Of course, something is not, it doesn't come in 3 weeks. It takes years to do it. And what happened is that now, so he's at the same level of everyone else. Like
Are you sure he's not a little better?
Yeah, much better.
Very nice, maestro.
He's very good. So,
That's beautiful. And I remember one day we were having dinner, I believe, and you were so excited because one of your students got accepted to Juilliard.
oh yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's
Sorry, I'm mentioning
No,
it,
it's
but
great.
I just remember your excitement when you were telling me her story
yeah.
and how happy and proud you were that thanks to, the lessons and the schooling that you gave to this lady, she managed to pass all the exams and get accepted to Juilliard.
Yeah, so the thing is this. So what I share always, because we are aware that 99% of the kids who are playing today will not become professional pianists or professional composers, and it's okay because
okay.
everyone takes their own thing. The only thing is that there are many researchers now of 40, 50 years where they shows that doctors perform much better if they played at least for 3 years an instrument. So there are many research that can be found anywhere related to this. So what happened there, and what I always encourage is, like, for example, there are curriculum of piano, okay, which are basically English curriculums, and those ones gives, if the kids do the exams to perform those musics and they follow the rules on those ones, you basically get credits for universities, and doesn't have to be a university of music, like as you mentioned, Julia.
Yes.
Like can be any university, even medical university, for example. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, exactly. So it gives some credits. So that's the thing. So we had another student that got accepted in 8 Ivy Leagues universities, and 2 of them was because of her grade 8 exam of piano, because it gave her enough credits to join that. So that's the thing that I like to share, and that's why when I meet families that they want their kid to play piano or to learn music, is things I share, because at least they know. Then we know that probably they will not do it, or maybe after 3 years they will not play anymore. Maybe they will like to do something else. Interest change during teenaging. So what I'm saying is I always like to share those informations, which even a non-musician or a non-composer can understand and takes decisions on that, for the future of the kids.
Of course.
So yeah, those are things that I think music schools should more share with their.
What influence have you seen the parents play on the musical education and interest in music of the kids?
I would say 100%.
100%.
Yes, because who is the mom, the typical person who calls me for piano lessons, or call Musica Maestro, which is my company, are moms that played already piano when they were kids, and now they regretted to have stopped it, and now they don't want their kids to have the same experience,
The same regret.
exactly. So that's the main thing. So, and this is a big thing. So usually parents who comes with this intent, the kids actually are lasting longer, like 7 or 8 years. They do lessons and they play. When you have parents that are in the same situation and just push, that's where the kid step back and
right.
will not be willing. And the problem is that they don't only reject piano, they will reject music in general.
Okay. That's
So-
very sad.
But
But
this
it is what
life,
it is, man. Yeah, of course, I understand. I remember COVID time, you had to reinvent yourself again. Your company had to evolve once again and shed a new pair of wings from going door to door like you are to changing to an online system. Could you tell me a little bit about how the process came to be?
Yeah, so I knew already, and I had experiences in following different podcasts of music, etc. That already online lessons were running, in the world, Australia more than other places. And so when I thought that the situation would go worse, I said, okay, let me do one thing. I basically did a meeting with all my team, with all my teachers in House of Pianos, and we took different rooms and we tested different softwares. This was, I think, 2 3 days before they would do they were closing everywhere.
Yeah,
Like so.
the quarantining the whole
Exactly,
town.
all the things. And so what I did was, let's find the best software, the easiest software to do. And then when they stop us to go to the homes, let's do one thing. Let's simply not ask them if they want to do online. Let's just do it. So it was not a question. It was, we will continue online. That's it. So this was, and I prepared the emails and the messages to be sent to the families. And that's what basically I did, and that retained at least 30% of the students, which for a company,
In
at that
COVID
time,
times specifically.
so 220 families of students at the same time. So it was quite a big
Yes.
big chunk, and like we lost 70% in the first week, and absolutely reasonable reasons. Parents were telling me, I need to provide food for my kids first, and then all these activities which are extra ones, like for example piano
Yes.
lessons, we should wait to do them, or to start them back, which I understood 100% at the time. And the funny thing that happened after that was that many families, when they left and they went back to live in Switzerland, Italy, Austria, USA, they continued online actually, instead of finding a piano teacher there. So
This is
that's
fantastic.
and it lasted for many years. Like student now, it's already 4 years online. So so it's amazing how, because especially someone says, how can you do that? I can say, in a technical reason, it's much easier to continue online if you already have the basics of positions of the hand and the basic technicals of the hands and the fingers, the movements, etc. If you have that, then it's much easier to start online. If you start with a really small kid that didn't have any much lessons, it's much harder to do.
But it
Still
can be
doable.
done.
We have one student that now is with us for 7 8 years, Jawahar, her name is. And for example, in her case, she started during pandemic,
Wow.
and she had to do online lesson. And so the mom was helping a lot. And so that's the thing, and that's where she's one of the few that, for example, can reach a level of becoming a professional pianist one day.
That's fantastic.
So, and it started in that situation, and that's why I always like to find the positive that you can control on those things, because wrong things happens, mistakes happens during that. The thing that I'm happy is that we gave people, like in this case moms and fathers, a view of how things could be still going on even during those times.
So we evolved the company once again. You had to grow once again. And then obviously COVID finished. The world became sane again somehow. and now I find myself seeing you looking at the stars.
Yeah, correct.
And for some reason I discovered that you're very passionate about astrology.
Astronomy.
Astronomy, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes, astronomy.
Because that's the science.
Yes, astronomy. And tell me a little bit about that. How this passion connected here in the Emirates.
So, just a small note: when I was kid or teenager, I always had this passion for understanding the constellations and the stars and stuff. And I I was always having in my pocket the paper that you open and you can see the
La
whole.
mappa astrale,
Yeah, exactly.
the astral map.
Astro map, exactly.
Yes.
And so and I remember sometimes when I was, because to me going to clubs with my friends was very boring. So I was going out of the club and I was going to the, because on the behind there was a lot of darkness. So where you can see, and from northern Italy, especially during winter, you see everything. So I was reading it, but of course that was quite a weird thing to do at the time.
Not at all, man.
The thing is that I enjoy that, and so I really like everything related to space and so on, and I always have dreamed to write something on the space side. And then it came an opportunity with Al Sadeem Astronomy in Abu Dhabi. So basically, they had these images taken from Abu Dhabi, from Al Sadeem Observatory, and they saved these images and videos that they took from there. And one day I said, why there is no music here? And because you have these wonderful images and nothing. And from there, it started a project that.
You created an opportunity for yourself.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
This is
They
fantastic.
didn't think about it. When I saw it, I said, why there is no music here? Because it was amazing. The images, the pictures, the quality is incredible. And from here also, so, and yeah, exactly. I created the opportunity on myself. The thing is that what happened from that moment, what ended up actually is that I traveled to Italy to perform, basically because I wrote the music and we had the best musician in Italy in terms of some musicians from La Scala of Milano, from the orchestra and stuff. And actually the sound designer is named Colliva. Colliva is the guy who is the sound designer of the Muse. So, like I wanted to have the best, to get the best results ever for that.
And you organized everything yourself, coordinated and managed everything.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Giulio, I have to say, Giulio Stromendo, who's my friend, and he's an arranger, great arranger in Italy.
Oh, nice.
And so we basically, because I couldn't do it myself all. So we did it together. So, like he was following a part of the project and I was following. The composition was full mine, but the orchestration and the stuff, so it was followed by together. And that was amazing because remembering the faces of these people that they know not much about music and seeing how it does, how it happens, and then how it evolves, because composing is taking choices. So you write it, you see what they want, because also you have to find a compromise between your creativity and what they're actually looking for, because you can't give these a different result based on what they perceive. So you always have to find this compromise, and I think there I let the creativity go full, and then having the opportunity to work with, really, those are the real musicians, the real artists, in the field, playing the things I wrote and making it real and live. So that was wonderful project that it went, and amazing. I mean, it's the joy.
I haven't been to the observatory yet, but it's something that we gotta do because I need to listen to this.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And I know you're making some vinyls out of it.
Yes, exactly. So it's because it came out that nice that the idea was also to create the vinyl, and there are vinyls of that. So, and it's amazing.
Hopefully he'll get me one. We'll hope. We'll hope.
one for a gift.
That would be amazing. So, okay, man. So once again, you did something amazing. Now your name's written on the stars.
Exactly.
That's great, man.
Yeah, no, it's and one thing that I want to add, for example, in 2018, I did a similar project, but it was a short movie. It was Cine Production, the company, and in Hong Kong. And this movie, for example, I wrote the music, so for the soundtrack. And the tough part of that project, what was it? Was that no actor was talking during the short movie. So you have 6 minutes of only people.
Silent movie.
Silent, yeah.
Charlie
So
Chaplin style.
not really, because you have sounds, but there was no talk. So the whole story is, by main character and other characters, and like, so you have the full thing. The Windsor Paradox is the name, and for example, in that one, I remember trying to do the orchestra to try to feel this feeling. And that time, the director, Jason Joseph, he told me, like, he gave me a file with all the feelings that he wanted the music represents. As usually in the movies, you have basically the talk removes a lot of the percentage of importance of music. But when you don't have talk, you have image, which is the most important, and then music, and that's it. And that time, what happened is that he wrote me all the feelings he felt about, in these seconds, I want something that is melancholy. During this part, I want something that is anger. So, and I have to translate those feelings into technicals of music.
Nice.
And I wrote with the orchestra, I tried. At the end, I basically did the full soundtrack in piano only. Yeah, piano only. And this comes from learning that removing most of the time is adding.
Nice.
So this is one thing that I learned even when I was studying composition. Most of the time, even if you analyze Giuseppe Verdi or something, they do very simple things and they're very effective. So I did that, and actually I won the Best Original Score Award in London for this at the Filmoril International Film Festival. So by removing the orchestra and putting just the piano, but I felt like when I finished that, I felt I did something that...
You knew it.
Yeah.
You felt
like,
it inside.
It was good. It was good.
It was good.
I felt like I did something good.
Oh, man, very nice.
That's even an example where removing noise helped to make it. If I would have kept the version with the orchestra, probably would not have been so effective, the result.
You speak about noise now, and I want to flip the topic a little bit, particularly to talk about one of your hidden passions. And you are a professional competitor in flippers.
Yeah, pinballs.
And pinballs.
Yeah, correct.
So tell me how you got into that, man, because I know we had the serious conversation. We talked about the business, and of course, music is also another passion of yours. And particularly, I would like to say education, because I see you vibrate every time you teach the kids. But then I discovered recently that you went to Italy for a tournament. And then from there, I'm like, you play pinball professionally.
Yes.
So?
Well, actually, we shouldn't say professional in terms of the fact that, it's not a paid job.
Okay, but you have a ranking worldwide.
Yeah, there is a ranking, and I mean that. Yes. So, again, there was a part of my life where you want to find what really makes you happy or joy. And what I thought at the time was what I was loving doing as a kid. Because when you're a kid, especially below 8 years old, you don't have many filters. You just do stuff. Even you see this in piano lessons when you have a student 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, whatever you give them to play, they will play. When it starts 8, 9, 10, they start, I don't like this, I don't want that. So they start to be a filter. So I said to myself, what did I enjoy to do a lot? And I remember that I was spending a lot of time and a lot of money of my mom in going across. So across our house, there was a bar that had pinballs.
100 lire.
200 lire. Yeah.
200.
200 liras and 500 liras after. And so I was putting the coin and playing pinball and putting the coin and playing pinball. I was really obsession about that, the pinball. And so what happened after that is that after a while I said, I love to do that when I was a kid. I should get it back. And then I started to get it back, and basically I discovered that there are tournaments and stuff, and I said, let me try, just go. So here in UAE there is one place called Tilt that is where I go usually to do tournaments. The guy David, he's organizing it every month, usually a tournament. I'm quite happy because I won 5 tournaments in a row.
They don't want you anymore there.
Exactly. I should miss
please, let the other ones win a little bit.
I should miss that one. The most and the good thing is that I went also to Austria to play some tournaments in Vienna and in Bologna in Italy. And what I like of the environment is that it's very, very genuine people because are just real passionate. A lot of nerds people, like you can see a lot of nerds there.
As if we're not nerds, man.
No, we are.
Eh,
The only thing is that you see really a high level there. The only thing is that these are genuine people and are very friendly, and it's nice to meet new people and find out new things, you know. So I enjoyed a lot, and I loved also the results I got because reaching ninth over 80, you know, in Vienna, where you have some Europeans, it was very good achievement in both of the tournaments. So I enjoy it, and the only reason I go is because while I'm playing pinball, I don't think anything else. I don't think work. I don't think responsibilities. I don't think stuff. So I really see that as something that makes me really brings me to another world where I can enjoy.
where you can become a kid again.
When I can become a kid again, this is a good.
That's
yeah.
why I paint miniatures, man.
Yes,
It brings me
exactly.
back to that. So, Michele, I wanna thank you first of all for taking the time. I know you're very busy because I see you once every 6 months, maybe. So
That's
I know
right.
you're very busy. And aside from thanking you for taking the time to be here, I also want to tell you that it has been a blessing for me to have you in my life. Um, you know my life and you know my story a little bit, but from the moment I met you and you entered into it, you brought music back again. And music has been something that I've always loved since I'm a little kid. And okay, I don't play the piano,
Doesn't
but
matter.
your presence in everything that we have ever done has turned into a musical parade between our friends playing, somebody singing. We have Andrea that used to play with us as well, and it has brought so much joy that those memories I don't think will ever disappear.
Mhm.
And not only that, the inspiration to continue to learn music. I learned how to play the banjo, and I'm learning how to play the guitar now, as well as the clarinet and the saxophone. So I know it takes time, but one of the things I'm doing the most right now is singing.
Uh,
And it's all thanks to you. You provided me as well as a vocal coach at one
Yeah.
point, and she started me onto the right path. And from there, I took over myself. But I want to thank you for bringing music back into my life.
It's my
Music,
pleasure.
melody, and the joy of it.
It's actually it was fun. For example, and also you we have to say that you have a lot of instruments at home from everywhere in the world. So that helps. And so you know, like when we gathered, I remember one time we gathered, we played together. There was someone playing accordion, and I was playing the piano, and then hampan and
Oh yeah, man, that was crazy.
banjo with the banjo. So we did
And the
an amazing.
violin and the accordion. That girl, like this with the 20-kilo accordion on.
Yes, exactly.
I remember.
So that's I mean that's amazing how you know like and that's very like yeah what we were doing at your home. I mean it's amazing, unbelievable because also having the instrument helps and you know like it creates a wonderful vibe you know
It
between the
does.
people
It
because
does.
you communicate through a language that is
Come on.
international and
Correct.
worldwide. So
Correct. So, Michele, thank you so much again for joining me and being here today. It's really a pleasure to have you and to see you again.
thank you very much, Chris. It was really a pleasure talking with you here. Thank you very much.
So, everybody, make sure you go check out Musica Maestro and meet Maestro Michele.